All right, we're going to watch Grace's breaststroke here underwater. Grace, along with the video, we do want you to kind of take some time to check out the notes. In the notes, we just have some different verbal cues of things that we're seeing that you're doing really well, things that we're seeing that we want you to work on. So if you don't always have time to check out a video maybe before practice, before a meet, you can check out the notes as well and just get little simple reminders of things that we're looking at. A couple things that we see real quick. Good job of finishing your kick. I mean, you really do a great job of that. But we want to work on not going quite so deep. You can see as you recover forward, instead of going forward, you're really kind of going straight down, and then you start to push forward afterwards. We don't want to go quite so down, quite as deep as we are, but we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get into the video. Turn here. Man, good feet. You drove into that wall real well. It just in the last second you kind of turned to the side. So we'll talk about that a little bit more too. So let's kind of start this over, and we'll go from here. So the very first thing, Grace, is we start to get that pull. We like how your hands are pressing out to the side here and here. You got your eyes starting to get up a little bit, which means you're starting to lift that head a little bit, and that's very, very good. We start to get on that in sweep. You can see that your head is starting to break that surface, which helps to get a nice early breath. And you want to make sure you're always breathing early. Okay, and you can see that there's your head up as your hands are starting to come underneath your chin. Fantastic. As we start to push forward that recovery, you can tell right here that your hands really are out of the water. We don't want your hands to come quite as high above the water. What we'd like to see you do is just pushing right forward right through the top of the water. So we don't want to go up and above. We want to go forward. As you're coming through, you're going to see those hands. You're pushing in this direction here, right? So here's the surface. This is where we want to be pushing. We want to be pushing forward in the water. We don't want to be pushing down. What we don't want to see is this movement and then having to come up, then this movement and then having to come up. You're almost doing kind of a wasted stroke by going down so much. So work on pushing your hands forward more, this direction, and then that way you can kind of roll your shoulders, get your head down, and really move forward all the way through. Because what you're going to see right here is after you do that, the very first thing you have to do is then come back up with your hands. And so you're lifting your eyes and you're lifting your hands back up. Okay, so we don't want to see you going down so much. Now, as your feet have just finished, which is a good finish on that kick, you can see that you've already started that next pull. So that's excellent. You always want to make sure you finish that kick before your next pull, and that's exactly what you've done there. Again, good breathing early. Nice hands coming right underneath your chin. Just again, we don't want to go quite so high. All right, as we start to engage that kick, you can see that your knees are bent. You brought those feet towards your hips. Excellent job there. As our hands start to go forward, we can see us turning our ankles out to the side, which is great. That's exactly what we want to do. That really helps develop a nice, good whip kick. And then excellent job of kicking all the way through that stroke. So good. And you're finishing your stroke very well as well. So that's great, Grace. On your breath, you can see right here, you're almost lifting your chin up a little bit more than we'd like to see. We don't want those eyes looking forward here. We want to make sure that this is your back, which means your eyes should be more facing this direction here. You want to keep your spine in line all the way through. So work on getting your head down just a little bit better. Again, you can kind of see as we're going straight across, that direction is where your hands are going. And you're kind of in a prayer mode. Make sure those hands are stacking a little bit one on top of the other, just a little bit of an overlap, not so much palms together, and definitely not going straight down like this. Back here with the kick, that looks great. So if you just had your hands going forward here, you would be like the perfect position, and you'd be doing a great job of moving forward in the breaststroke. Eyes down. Keep working on those eyes staying down. You can see that you lift those head up right there at the very end. As we go into our turn here, this is a good job of stacking your feet. Okay, and you're driving your knees into that wall exactly as you need to right in the very beginning. Right here is perfect. You're still rotating your knees in. You've just pulled this hand off the wall, which really helps develop a good transition from one stroke to one direction to the next. But right at the very last second, you turn your knees down and you turn your feet down. What we want to see you do is your feet here facing up, and then your knees are more here facing up. So let's make sure we're not going this direction here, but this direction here. Okay, you do a good job of watching your hand coming off that wall, it looks like. We'll see what it looks like above water. We definitely need to see a tighter streamline. You can see that your hands have got a little bit of space in between there, not much, but you got to get those arms locked a little bit more behind your ears and then lock those elbows in. Good job of holding that streamline. Maybe a little long. We only want 3 seconds, but the other thing we want you to do is while you're doing your streamline, hold it for 3 seconds, then dolphin kick at the top. Right here, you can see you're starting your dolphin kick here, right when you're halfway through that pull. Start the dolphin kick at the top, then do the pull. From here to here, we want to make sure you snap those arms and put those hands on the front of those thighs. As you finish that stroke, you can see that you're right here at the side. Body position here is perfect. If you get those hands on the front of your thighs down here, that's going to all of a sudden make you hunch your shoulders a little bit more, which does help keep you in a better streamline position. But that looks good right there with as far as where you're going. Distance coming up, excellent job. Breakout, you start that stroke really, really early, and you get your head up right at the very beginning. So that's fantastic, Grace. Keep it up.